Let's speak plainly, you and I. Forget the noise of the world for a moment and listen to that quiet, gnawing feeling you carry. That sense that you are meant for more, but are somehow anchored in place. A feeling of running hard but never moving forward, as if you are trying to sprint through deep water. You feel it when you wake up, that faint residue of dissatisfaction, a grey film over the morning light. You feel it in the quiet moments, when the distractions fade and you are left alone with the man you have become. A man who dreams of greatness but lives a life of quiet compromise, of deferred ambition. The man in the mirror has your eyes, but the fire in them is banked, burning low. You've looked for the cause of this paralysis everywhere but the right place. You've blamed your job, your past, the people around you. You've constructed elaborate reasons for your own inertia. All of this is to avoid looking at the one simple truth that would force you to change. The truth is you are being controlled, and the one controlling you is a master of deceit. He doesn't use whips and chains. He uses your own appetites against you. He has found your most powerful instinctual drive and turned it into his primary lever of command. A leash, he has convinced you, is a medal of honor. In his brutal confessions to Napoleon Hill, this entity, this principle of negativity Hill called the devil, admitted his favorite device for ensuring a man's failure. He doesn't steal your ambition. He convinces you to trade it, moment by moment, for a pleasure so intense it makes you forget the bargain. He has you addicted to the peak of physical release. He has conditioned you to chase it, to organize your time and energy around it. He has made you a creature of rhythm, a slave to a cycle of tension and momentary oblivion. And in this hypnotic rhythm, your life force, your creative power, your very genius drains away. You are left depleted, ambitionless, and you mistake this state of emptiness for peace. You think you are free because you can indulge, but you are the most captive of men, jailed by the very bars of your own desires. This is the secret he didn't want you to know. He thrives in your ignorance. But today, that ignorance ends. We are going to drag his methods into the light. We will use his own words against him. Prepare yourself. What you are about to read may disturb you, because you will see your own life reflected in it. The entity that Napoleon Hill interviewed was shockingly direct about its methods. When asked to name its tools for controlling people, it placed the human appetites at the top of the list. And one appetite, above all others, was its masterpiece of manipulation. With chilling confidence, the devil confessed, "Well, take the desire for sex expression." He continued, "Now there is a force with which I master the weak and the strong, the old and the young, the ignorant and the wise. In fact, I master all who neglect to master sex." Read those words again. He masters all who neglect to master this force. He doesn't say some or many. He claims absolute dominion over anyone who does not have this power under their own definite control. And his primary tactic for ensuring you never gain that control is addiction to the physical act. He has engineered a culture that worships the orgasm. It is presented as the ultimate goal. He has made you believe that the release is the purpose of the energy, when in fact it is the squandering of it. This is how he leads you into what he calls the habit of drifting. A drifter is a man without a central purpose, without a burning obsession that gives his life direction. He is a ship without a rudder, a life without a blueprint. The drifter avoids definite decisions, avoids commitment, and avoids the kind of focused effort that leads to mastery. He mistakes his lack of direction for open-mindedness. Let's examine the internal world of the drifter. His mind is a sea of rationalizations. "I've had a hard day. I deserve this release," he tells himself. "It helps me relax. It clears my head. I'll be more focused tomorrow." These are the lies he uses to grease the wheels of his own demise. He becomes a master of self-deception, arguing his case for failure with the passion of a defense attorney. His relationship with time becomes warped. The future is a hazy, distant land that he will get to eventually. The past is a collection of regrets he tries not to think about. The only time that feels real is the immediate present, the urgent need of the now. This addiction destroys his ability to engage in long-term thinking, because it trains his brain to prioritize immediate, intense rewards over delayed, substantial ones. And so, all great works, which are by nature long-term projects, become impossible for him. At the core of the drifter's paralysis is a deep, often unconscious, fear of definiteness. To choose one great purpose means you must say no to 1,000 other possibilities. This terrifies the drifter. He wants to keep his options open, but in doing so, he never truly steps onto any path. His life becomes a hallway of unopened doors. The addiction is the perfect anesthetic for this fear. It keeps him busy with a meaningless pursuit so he never has to choose who he is going to be. And the addiction to orgasm is the perfect tool to create a drifter. The intense, all-consuming focus on the physical act hijacks your psychic energy. Your ambition for the day, your plan for the week, your vision for your life, all of it is subordinated to the pursuit of that next release. Afterward, in the quiet depletion, your grand plans seem distant, even foolish. The energy required to pursue them has been spent. You are left in a state of temporary satisfaction and long-term apathy. This is the devil's rhythm. He admitted that overindulgence in sex is no different from an addiction to narcotics or liquor. He stated, both lead to hypnotic control through the habit of drifting. This is a crucial point. It is a form of hypnosis. You are being lulled into a state of semi-consciousness regarding your own life. You are so focused on the cycle of the appetite that you fail to notice the weeks, months, and years slipping by. You are hypnotized by your own biology, misused. This is not a moral failure, it is a strategic one. You are losing a war you didn't even know you were fighting. You are being outwitted by an opponent who understands your own nature better than you do. He has taught you to be ashamed of this force, to see it as vulgar. He creates this shame so that you will not study it. He wants you to remain ignorant of its true function, because in your ignorance, you are manageable. The devil himself said, "It is not sex that is vulgar. It is the individual who neglects or refuses to control and guide it." He wants you to stay in a state of neglect, ricocheting between repression and uncontrolled indulgence. Either state serves his purpose. The man who represses the force often becomes distorted and bitter. The man who indulges it without control becomes weak and ineffective. Neither man is a threat to the devil's dominion. Neither man can build a life of power. The master, the man who escapes this trap, is the one who understands the emotion of sex, respects it, and learns to control and transmute it into constructive activities. This is the secret the devil does not want you to apply. This is the path to your freedom. The consequences of this addiction are not abstract. They are concrete and devastating, attacking the very foundations of a successful life. The devil laid them out with surgical precision. He stated that the greatest damage is that it depletes the source of man's greatest driving force and wastes, without adequate compensation, man's creative energy. This is the core of the destruction. Your creative fire is being used as cheap kindling. Every time you indulge without purpose, you are spending the very capital meant to build your empire. The energy that could have solved a business problem, written a book, or invented a new process is simply gone, wasted. Look at your own life. How many great ideas have you had that faded into nothing? How many ambitious projects have you started, only to abandon them when the initial excitement wore off? Where did that energy go? The devil can tell you. He also confirmed that it dissipates energy needed by nature to maintain physical health. You are weakening your own body, depleting the therapeutic force that maintains your vitality. You are aging yourself prematurely. But the damage goes deeper, into the subtle realms of personal power. The devil boasted that this addiction depletes the magnetic energy, which is the source of an attractive, pleasing personality. This is the invisible quality that makes people want to be around you, trust you, and follow you. It is personal magnetism. Hill's research found this is nothing less than sex energy, properly controlled and circulated. When you waste it, you become less magnetic. You become less interesting. You lose your charisma. People are not drawn to a void, they are drawn to a presence, a vibrant energy. The addict, in his depletion, becomes a psychic black hole, and people unconsciously step away from him, feeling the drain. The physical signs become undeniable. The devil gloated that this habit removes the sparkle from one's eyes and sets up discord in the tone of one's voice. Look in the mirror. Is there light in your eyes? Or are they dull, reflecting the inner emptiness? Listen to yourself speak. Is your voice resonant, carrying conviction? Or is it flat, lacking the quality that commands attention and respect? These are not small things. They are the outward signals of your inner state, and the world reads them unconsciously. Finally, and most catastrophically, this addiction destroys enthusiasm, subdues ambition, and leads inevitably to the habit of drifting on all subjects. It is the perfect formula for a life of mediocrity. Enthusiasm cannot survive in a state of constant depletion. Ambition requires a surplus of energy to fight through setbacks. The addict has no surplus. He lives in a state of energetic poverty, barely able to meet the demands of the day. And so, he drifts. He gives up on his major purpose. He lets life happen to him. He is a ship with a hole in its hull, taking on water, slowly sinking while he distracts himself with a fleeting pleasure on the deck. This is the devil's victory. Now that the devil's methods are exposed, we must turn to the antidote. The path is mastery through transmutation. The devil himself was forced to admit the incredible benefits that come to the man who masters this energy. The list he provided is a blueprint for building a Superman, a direct inversion of the damages caused by addiction. He confessed that controlled sex supplies the magnetic force that attracts people to one another. The very charisma that the addict destroys, the master amplifies. He becomes a center of influence, drawing people and opportunities to him. This power is the most important factor of a pleasing personality. It is not about techniques or learned behaviors. It is an authentic, radiant energy that people find compelling. It transforms your very presence. It gives quality to the tone of voice and enables one to convey through the voice any feeling desired. Your words gain weight, authority, and charm. You speak, and people listen. This mastery fuels your mind. It sharpens the imagination and enables one to create useful ideas. The mental fog of depletion lifts. You become an idea factory, seeing solutions and opportunities that were previously invisible. Your entire being becomes more effective. It gives quickness and definiteness to one's physical and mental movements. The hesitation and uncertainty of the drifter are replaced by the swift, purposeful action of a man with a mission. This is the source of resilience. The master gives one persistence and perseverance in the pursuit of one's major purpose in life. When the addict would quit, exhausted and discouraged, the master draws on a deep well of conserved energy and pushes through. It is the ultimate psychological armor. The devil admitted that this controlled energy is a great antidote for all fear. It gives one immunity against discouragement, and it helps to master laziness and procrastination. Think of what your life would be like if fear, discouragement, and procrastination no longer had power over you. What could you accomplish? This is not a fantasy. It is the natural result of redirecting your most powerful energy. It endows you with a fighting spirit. It gives you the qualities needed for self-defense in all circumstances. It makes you formidable. The devil's summary is stark. In brief, it makes winners and not quitters. The addict is a quitter by definition. He quits on his dreams every time he indulges. The master is a winner because he uses the fuel of life to power his victory. The choice of which you will be is yours alone. This transmutation is not a mystical process. It is, as Think and Grow Rich states, the switching of the mind from thoughts of physical expression to thoughts of some other nature. It is an act of will. Let's make this more practical. Start by establishing what Hill called a sacred hour. This is 60 minutes every single day without fail, where you are completely alone with your thoughts and your great purpose. No phone, no computer, just you, a pen, and paper. In this hour, you are to do nothing but think about your definite major purpose. You must use your creative imagination. Don't just think about your goal, live in it. See your business thriving, feel the weight of the award in your hand, hear the applause, smell the new paint in your dream home. Make the internal, imagined reality so vivid it becomes more compelling than the biological urge. When the desire arises outside of this hour, your task is to immediately begin a process of autosuggestion. You must have a powerful, affirmative statement prepared. Something like, "This energy is the fuel for my empire, and I command it to build my fortune." You must say this to yourself, with feeling over and over, until the emotional state of the urge is replaced by the emotional state of your ambition. You are actively hijacking the emotional intensity and giving it a new mission. This is the essence of transmutation. This itself is an act of building willpower. Each time you succeed, the muscle gets stronger. The first few times will feel impossible, a battle against your own screaming nerves. But with persistence, the neural pathways change. The redirection becomes smoother, more instinctual. This requires you to have a purpose that is worthy of such a powerful force. A small, uninspiring goal will not be enough to command this energy. Your vision for your life must be grand enough to demand all of your creative fire. Furthermore, Hill made it clear that a man's greatest achievements are often inspired by a woman. He is not speaking merely of the physical urge, but of the higher emotion of love. When the desire to please a woman whom you genuinely love and respect is combined with this raw energy, it becomes a stabilizing force. The addict, trapped in the loop of physical release, often isolates himself in his habit. His connections are shallow. The man on the path of mastery finds that this conserved energy makes him a better partner. It allows for a depth of connection that the depleted man cannot sustain. The love for his partner becomes another high-level channel for his energy, transforming it from a purely selfish drive into a force for mutual growth. This is why the devil seeks to cheapen the act, to strip it of love and romance, to make it a lonely, repetitive, and purely biological function. He knows that when love enters the equation, he loses control. The energy is no longer just for the self, it is for the beloved, for the family, for the shared future. And that is a purpose far too powerful for him to overcome with the simple lure of momentary pleasure. You have now been given the layout of both the prison and the key. The devil's entire strategy for keeping you stuck and mediocre through your most powerful appetite has been laid bare, using his own admissions. The damages are clear. The depletion of creative force, the loss of personal magnetism, the destruction of enthusiasm, and the hypnotic habit of drifting into a life of quiet failure. You see the symptoms in your own life. The benefits of mastery are equally clear: a magnetic personality, a sharpened imagination, immunity to fear and discouragement, and the relentless persistence that defines all winners. This is the man you are meant to be. Ignorance can no longer be your excuse. You now know that this is not a question of morality, but of power. It is not about denying a vulgar urge, but about commanding a virtuous and creative force. The choice is conscious. Continue in the hypnotic rhythm of the addict, and you will be controlled. You will live as a drifter, a man mastered by his own appetites, a willing subject in the devil's kingdom of failure. This path ends not in a bang, but a whimper. It is a life of what-ifs, of watching from the sidelines as other men, perhaps with less raw talent but more self-command, build the life you secretly desired. It is the slow, cold misery of knowing you failed yourself. Or begin the work of transmutation. Begin the difficult, conscious process of redirecting this energy. Say no to the momentary release to say yes to your lasting legacy. Become the master of your own internal state. This is the path of the winner. It is a harder path, a lonelier path at times, but it leads to the only thing that matters: a life of purpose, power, and deep, unshakable self-respect. It leads to a reality where the man in the mirror is the hero you always dreamed of being. The devil said that freedom begins with those who desire self-determination enough to be willing to pay its price. The price is willpower. It is discipline. It is the courage to command the most powerful force within you. Are you willing to pay it?